All right, and we should be good again on the tube right now. All right, so we're all set. We're good to go. All right, everyone, if you guys want to start tapping and sharing, I'll be live for about an hour and 15 or so. How you doing?
Hey, yo, fuck Trump and fuck ICE.
All right. Appreciate the words, but you're a little too young. Very young. Very, very young. Pretty sure that same person has joined before. Yeah, I don't know. He probably sounded around that age. All right. But if you guys can start tapping and sharing, that would be helpful. And if you guys haven't sent in your heart me, I'd imagine most of you already sent it on the previous live, but you can send it over here. That'd be great. We are halfway towards the rose gift goal. You guys want to help with that? Set his age on other lives. Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. He was in Reggie's live, and he probably just goes around live to live, I would assume. Yeah, I know, crazy dog. I restarted my computer and all that stuff because it froze, but I just didn't really feel like going live after the fact. Katie, I'm more than happy to answer that question if you come on up. Hello, Emma. How are ya? Gabby, what's up? I twist what? What is it that I twist? You come up, we can talk about it, but I'm not sure what it is that I am twisting. Remember, guys, if you disagree with the background, hit the request button. Jeff, you can come on up as well. I don't know why you guys insist on hiding in the comments. All right, we got somebody that finally accepted the request. Look at that. Hello, Katie.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I've never done this before, so I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing.
You're good. You're up here. We hear you loud and clear. I just need to know your age before you move forward. It's just TikTok terms of service.
I am 41.
Okay, cool. And what's on your mind?
Well, I guess the way you have worded this is you say, Mag, why do you all hate LGBTQ+.
Uh-huh.
And my question to you is, why do you think all of us hate them?
Yeah. Well, you voted for a guy that is implementing a lot of harm towards the community. And if you voted for it, you are upholding it. So I don't have any other conclusion to come to other than that.
Well, maybe a whole lot of us voted for him because we felt like the alternative person was worse.
How so? In relation to this topic?
What's that?
In relation to this topic, how so?
Well, I felt like, personally, I felt like Kamala just was
Kamala.
not a very intelligent human being. I mean, she didn't present as a very intelligent human being.
Intelligent?
And I also
Really? In which way was she not intelligent in relation to Trump, who can hardly form a sentence at times?
Well, Trump sounds like an idiot too. I will say that.
Okay.
But he still seemed like the better
Okay,
choice.
so we're talking about the LGBT plus community, though. You voted for the harm against the community, and I'm curious as to what was so bad about her that you were willing to harm the LGBT plus community.
Well, I don't think I voted for that. I voted.
Well, you did. You may not have intentionally, but your vote does go towards all things that a candidate does, right? Whether you wanted to or not, it goes towards it.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So that's how I've come to this conclusion. So I'm just curious. I'm curious as to why you decided to vote for the harm done against the community.
Well, I didn't necessarily choose to vote to harm that community. My vote was, well, like I said, because I felt like some of the other things, some of the other harm that was being brought on by the opposite, like Kamala Biden, was way worse than maybe any harm that might be
Like what?
brought to
Okay,
the
so give me an example of harm that was going to be put forward by Harris that was going to be so much worse that you were willing to harm 10-ish% of the population via the LGBT plus community.
Can I ask you how we are harming them?
Yeah.
Like, I have friends who are from the LGBTQ community,
Okay, great. So
and they don't think I don't. They're not angry at me. They know who I voted for. They don't seem to think that I'm harming them.
okay, I will give you an example. So you have 15,000 trans individuals that were kicked out of the military by Trump's executive order. You have all gender affirming care banned for anyone under the age of 19 via Trump's executive order. You have a bill in Florida, this was passed by Republicans, but that allows for healthcare providers to not give care to somebody if they happen to be part of the LGBT plus community because of a bill that was passed there. And there's 600 plus anti-LGBT bills that were passed last year in 2025, and there's probably going to be more this year. It was Bill SB 1580 in Florida, but I can give you numerous ones throughout the entire country.
You mean these bills don't allow them to get any medical care, or they
There
don't
was-
allow them?
There was a bill in Florida that allowed healthcare providers to deny them medical care based on them potentially being LGBT plus.
Like all types of medical care, or
Anything,
just?
yes. Yeah, yep. This is Bill SB 1580. It's in Florida.
Okay.
Okay,
I
but-
did not know about that.
so there's
No, I
that.
do not support.
Okay, and that was by Republicans, obviously not by Trump specifically, but the executive order by Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but
That's what
then
I'm saying. So many of us who are actually voted for Trump are not necessarily Republican, I wouldn't say.
okay, well, again, there's an executive order of him kicking transgender individuals out of the military, 15,000. So essentially, you voted for 15,000 transgender individuals to be fired from their job, to lose their pay and benefits, simply because who they are as a human being.
Okay.
So that would be one example of many.
Okay.
So I'm asking, how is that okay?
Well, and I'm not saying that is okay. But I'm still saying I feel like Trump was a better option of the two.
What was worse about Harris that outweighed just that executive order alone, not even mentioning all the other ones?
Well, I will say this, and I haven't researched into it too much to see how much of his, and I'm from a small town, so it's like I probably am somewhat secluded from a lot of this stuff, but like for instance, I don't know if it was or was not true that they wanted to allow transgenders into the opposite bathroom of their biological.
Transgender people. Okay. So can you tell me?
I was very upset about that because and my reason for being upset about that, if it was true, and it was because I feel like, okay, there's going to be a lot of bad people who would take advantage of that and say, well, I am this or that, you know.
So you.
And then how?
I know, but you played right into their fear mongering, because I don't know if you knew this or not. Those were the laws your entire life. For your entire life, anybody could have used whatever restroom they felt most comfortable in, and you never saw these issues happen. It was only an issue because Republicans told you to start caring about it. And unless you can provide me data showing that trans men commit more crime or anything like that in restrooms than others, or trans women than others, then I don't think you have anything to back up with that as that being a problematic thing.
Okay.
So why is it so harmful that trans women use women's restrooms?
What is that again?
Why is it so bad that trans women use women's restrooms that you had to vote for Trump's harmful things? Because I asked you what was so harmful about Harris that outweighed it, and you said transgender people using the opposite restrooms. Why is that bad?
Well, the thing of it is, I don't so much even, like, yeah, that was a problem for me a little bit, but, like...
But why?
When I was on your other live...
But hold on, we can get to that. I'm asking, why is it a problem that trans women use women's restrooms? Or trans men use men's restrooms?
Well, to me, I don't know, it just is. Now, if we all have family restrooms, I'm fine with family restrooms.
So it's bad because it's bad?
Well, I don't want men in the restroom with my little girl. No, I don't. Whether they are trans or regular men, I don't want them in there with my little girl.
Saying regular men says that would insinuate that trans men are not regular for one, okay? And secondly, well, hold on. Secondly, you I would assume go into the restroom with your little girl, right?
Yes, I mean, I would.
So why is it harmful that somebody that you view as a man, I wouldn't view them as a man, is using the restroom, in which the whole sole purpose of to use the restroom is to alleviate yourself?
Well, I don't know. I just am not comfortable with that fact.
Okay. Well, then what if that trans woman goes into the men's restroom and then men have an issue with them being in there? Where are they supposed to go?
Okay. Trans men are
typically born as female. They're typically born as female and they identify as men, and vice versa.
Okay, because I get confused about which is which myself. So a trans man... Okay, I guess I'm saying I don't want anybody with a dick in my girls' bathroom is what I'm saying.
Yeah, how do you know they have that without checking?
Well, I'm not going to be checking, that's for sure.
Okay, so then that's a moot point.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so it's irrelevant. And guys, I don't know why the guest requests are turned off. I mean, there are people that are requesting, so clearly they can't really be off, so...
I'll give up my time. I really should get off of here anyway.
Okay. Goodbye. All right. Let's get to the next guys. We're looking for ops. Okay. If you guys can keep tapping and sharing, yeah. For some people, they seem to be on. Some people, guys. I think the app is just glitching with like the new stuff. So you may just have to try to exit out, swipe out of it, restart it, go back in, whatever. If not, it's just kind of part of it, unfortunately. I am watching on my phone. And on my phone, there's no request either, but obviously people can. All right. How you doing, YH?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just need to know your age before we move forward.
30.
All right. What's up?
Well, I don't want to derail your conversation. It's a little esoteric, but fundamentally, I feel like, as far as I can tell from the listening I've done, well, that the concept of... Do you want just transgenders, LGBT as a whole, or what?
I'm just asking for anyone who either voted for Trump, anybody has an issue with an LGBT plus community, to come on up. That's it.
Right. I mean, for me, I'll tell you what I think. Maybe you've got something to add. As far as I can tell, it's, of course, everyone knows that there have always been gay people, like in Rome or wherever. I feel like our version of it, though, is very politicized. Because I've heard people from the past describing why it's politicized and what they want to do with it. Something to do with communism and the nuclear family being some problem. Anyway, these guys, they call themselves deconstructionists, I think. Deconstructionists, and they figure that gender, I'm sure you've heard, is a social construct.
Okay, can we stick on the topic of LGBT plus, though?
I'm trying to. As far as I can tell, the concept of a transgender comes from the idea that gender is a social construct. Is that right?
What, that being transgender or that gender is a social construct?
Right.
It's psychosocial.
Right.
So it's not entirely social. It's psychosocial.
Right. I mean, I feel I'm sorry I was offensive, but I feel that sort of thinking denies something important
Like
to
what?
the majority.
Like what?
Something. I don't know. Maybe some sense of stability, some sense of this, not quite sacred, but something. I don't know. Some sense of normality, I guess you'd say.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of how that's taken away from something within society?
Well, like even having to debate if men can become women or vice versa.
Well, nobody on the left believes men can become
whatever.
women or women can become men. That's not the argument. But I'm curious, even if that were the case, of how that's harmful.
Well, how would you put it? As far as I can tell, when these people they're telling you that it's a social construct, that's why it's valid. To me, it feels, if that's the logic they're using, that their idea that it is a social construct and that's what legitimizes them is also a social construct. So why couldn't the majority society, what they call cis or heteronormative, why couldn't they point their finger back at those guys and say, no, you've got your social construct, now we're back to square one. Why don't we get to tell you what to do, since you're the minority, we're the majority, we get to decide what's normal
being
and
told,
not, what's real and not,
so what's being told to quote unquote do that you find to be harmful for society?
What am I being told to do?
Yeah, you said the minority, so to speak, is telling the majority what to do. What is it that they're telling them to do?
Well, language for one. They want to define language. They want to
What
define
language?
what men and women are.
Okay, so let's focus on the language thing for now. What language is being forced upon you, or anything like that you think is harmful for society?
Well, the definition of men and women, of course, that's pretty subversive. And, it makes people very uncomfortable, as I'm sure you're aware.
Well, I'm sorry, progressive change in society makes people uncomfortable, right? When the idea of having groups of people not be slaves was an uncomfortable idea. Gay people being married, an uncomfortable idea. Women voting, an uncomfortable idea. That's sort of how things improve in society. We sort of push upon this uncomfortableness to allow people to be more included and less excluded.
Well, yes, but it's only up to someone's opinion whether it's an improvement. You could make the opposite case.
All right, so if you can tell me a reason as to why, I mean, you said language. I don't see, so give me an example of language.
Well, of course, the term man and woman, or what were you just saying? Transgender man, transgender woman. These sorts of things. I mean, it's subversive, to say the least.
What do you mean by subversive? Can you tell me what you mean by that?
Well, it subverts gender norms. It subverts people's.
And?
What would you call it? What word would you use?
I just think it's being more inclusive. I think the concept of things change over time. I think the concept of gender has changed over time. The concept of a lot of things have changed over time, right? I mean, the rights that we've had again within society have changed over time. Again, they're like black people weren't allowed to vote at one point, women weren't allowed to vote. So the concept of those things have also changed. I'm just wondering how this concept expanding harms upon other individuals.
Well, I guess you could say, like Alexander Solzhenitsyn, it's the freedom to versus the freedom from, and it's a different moral lens to look through. I think you would say, like so liberal, as far as I've understood it, liberal modernity, progressive society, secular humanist society, the Enlightenment civilization that we live in, they look through a lens of the freedom to. But there's a whole other concept called the freedom from. So like the freedom to, it would be that the individual is the very most important thing in society.
Okay.
And we base our values on that. The freedom from would be the opposite, of course. The group is the most important thing. And then I guess we're back to your question. Well, how does it affect?
Yeah, I
the
just
group?
want because I'm not saying we can't have conversations on these things, but I'd like to get to something that's a little more objective and measurable. Something that you can tell me that the trans community or people on the left are advocating for that is holding society back or is depriving us of something.
Well, well, I think you could say the sterilization of adults and children is a pretty big issue, and I mean anyone from the 1950s or 40s would say is mutilation what's being done to them, and it's highly immoral and against the Hippocratic Oath.
What sterilization is occurring by those who?
Well, that's what happens in your body when you take those hormones, isn't it? Or if you get bottom surgery.
Okay, but people have their individual right to do what they want. And number one, you're not sterilized. There's plenty of transgender people that can reproduce just fine. But it's their right. Nothing's been forced upon them. They're not doing it against their will or anything like that. It is their choice to do this. They're participating in gender-affirming care by the guidance of a doctor, right? Because it is seen as the best thing for them based on the gender dysphoria that they may be suffering with. Or from, rather.
Yeah.
That's
what they would say.
But, well, it's not what they would say. We do know gender dysphoria is in the DSM. We do know it is something that not only affects transgender individuals but cisgender individuals. And if it is severe enough, there are times in which medications may be needed, such as hormones or hormone blockers, or potentially having surgeries. And these are incredibly rare situations, by the way. We're talking like thousands a year, which is a fraction of a percent. And we do see overwhelmingly that it lowers the rates of depression, it lowers the rates of anxiety, substance use, as well as overall them not unaliving themselves.
As far as I'm aware, you're not supposed to say that word.
Just say self-unaliving, self-deletion, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Is the same pre and post op, as far as I'm aware.
I've heard that said before. I haven't seen evidence of it. All the evidence I've seen, when you compare, so you have to do a proper comparison, right? So if you compare transgender people post gender affirming care to then cis people, there's still going to be a big difference, because I'll give you just easy numbers to work with. Let's say, and these aren't the numbers obviously, let's say the average rate of somebody self-unaliving themselves for a cis person is 5%. But for trans people, it's 20. But after gender affirming care, it goes from 20 to 10. It is still higher than cis people. However, though, it's still a huge reduction, right? So there's studies where they compare it to cis people. Well, that's not a fair comparison. When you compare it to transgender people, specifically transgender people that wanted gender affirming care and couldn't get it, we see very, very large reductions of those things.
Yeah. I mean, if that were true, you could see the argument. I think for me, the Hippocratic Oath and the Code of Medical Ethics is a huge issue when it comes to these sorts of things and causing harm. Because, I tried to suss it out a while ago, and I didn't know there were all these things, but apparently, you think of anorexia. Well, this is body dysmorphia. Or bigorexia. I also thought that was a funny word. It just means you take a lot of steroids. And you look in the mirror and you see a little tiny guy, but you're really a big, huge, giant fella. Of course, anorexia, you're a little skinny, emaciated person. You look in the mirror, you see a big, fat person. And then the weirdest thing is something called body integrity identity disorder. And it's this sort of thing where you feel like your limbs don't belong.
I understand these things exist, but that is just I don't know why this argument's brought up. It's just that has nothing to do with being transgender.
Well, it's brought up, I think, because, well, I think it's because what a lot of people feel is going on is the, how do you say that?
Politicization.
It's the political, of medical care, because this shift in thinking happens around the same time as the sexual revolution, Frankfurt School ideas, gender equality, everything should be equal, this sort of a feeling. And how equal are they? Well, they can do the same jobs, men and women. How equal are they? Well, men can raise babies.
Okay,
women can go to work. How equal are they?
Oh my God, dude.
Men can actually become women.
You're really deviating.
Where is it?
I don't know why you're deviating so far off from the topic. This isn't a politicization from anybody on the left. It's politicization from people on the right, right? Nobody on the left was trying to politicize these things. These things were all a thing. These things were all allowed. Nobody cared about it until people on the right made a big deal out of it. This is the chicken or egg thing, right? You're blaming people on the left for fighting against it, whereas people on the right politicized it very conveniently because it really, really was convenient, riling people like you up, whereas it didn't need to be this issue, and it doesn't have to be this issue. If you just let trans people do what they want to do, that is widely backed by all major medical organizations, that doesn't go against the Hippocratic Oath, then this wouldn't be a problem. You guys are told that it's a problem, so you guys are getting angry about it.
Right, that's one side of the argument. The other one would be that it was started as a sort of a political, social project in the 60s, and the doctors just went along with it, just like they did with whatever, evil things, sterilizing the African-American population or whatever, and eugenics and all. And it's a very dangerous thing to do, because why not? Look, what's to stop somebody in the future from saying, I identify as a legless person. You should remove my leg.
You can't. That's not. I don't know where you're coming up with these scenarios, dude. Where are you coming up with these scenarios? You can't just identify as a legless person and then decide for that to be the case.
No, this has happened. Like the people have blinded. I think it died. Even let a doctor do it. I don't know how it worked.
Okay,
blinded.
What are you talking about specifically? Tell me what specific disease or disorder you're referring to.
A body integrity identity disorder in relationship to the removal of healthy organs, which violates the Hippocratic Oath. The healthy organs in the case of the transgender would be the genitals.
Okay. So I want you to, number one, give me an example of that occurring where they're asking to have an organ being taken out and a doctor is then doing that. And secondly, I have no idea how that relates to this.
Is transgender surgery for men not the removing of the male organs, the male sex organ?
In rare cases, that does happen, but it is their consent and it doesn't harm them. Considering, again, we see the
definition of it,
because we see once again the rates of them unaliving themselves lower. So unless you want them to not unalive themselves less, then I don't see how you would be against this.
I know that was the rationale behind it.
But that's what the research says. So everything that you're giving me is just feelings. Unless you can provide research showing that this isn't the case, then you have nothing to back this up. What's up?
Well, like I said, I thought
I'd like to know, why do you think that this only started in the 60s?
No, not that. What do you call cross-dressing started in the 60s, but that doing surgeries for this sort of thing started around the 60s, and that's the big shift.
That's not true either.
Cross-dressing did not start in the 60s.
When was the first transgender support group in the United States made?
I don't know.
In the late 1800s.
Is that right?
The transgender ideology has been around since humans have been around. It has always been a part of the human experience. It has been restrained and restricted in the United States experience, in the Western experience, for about 400 or 500 years, yes.
Well, I don't think
but other than that, there are cultures all over the planet that have been doing this for centuries. I mean, look at it's not an ideology, it's actually a physical thing. I misstated myself.
But those guys in
you look back to the Torah. How many
get surgeries?
Hold on. Well, we didn't have the medical technology for it.
No, but even now,
It's not that it didn't happen. It's not that it didn't happen. It's just that it didn't happen publicly because we didn't have the medical technology for it.
Right. I mean,
This goes farther back. This goes back to Native Americans and the two-spirited peoples. This goes back to ancient Judaism. Ancient Jews in the Torah, they cite, like 6 to 8 different genders.
That's right. But I just don't know.
The difference of gender and not being binary has been around for centuries. This is not a new concept.
Yeah, but removing healthy sexual organs, that's pretty new. And I don't know where you stop once you started doing anything.
Okay, we're not going to.
And they didn't do appendicitis in the 1700s either.
But you think of it. I mean, you're trying to make someone's body fit their mind. That's pretty radical.
Okay, so what's your alternative? Considering they have incredibly high rates of them self-deleting themselves, what would you recommend they do?
Mental asylums.
So you want them to put them into mental asylums. So we're going to revert back to doing those things in society.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with putting people in mental asylums?
It didn't work. We already tried it and it didn't work.
It's
just that you guys, when you guys sit here and you say this didn't start until the 60s or the 70s, you're completely strawmanning what has actually happened. People have been being put in asylums for this for hundreds of years. We tried that. It didn't work. The change still happened. No, these people didn't change. They didn't change how they were. They didn't suddenly wake up one day and say, "Oh, you were right. I was just out of my head." That never happened. Then we tried medications. When medications became a thing, when antipsychotics became a thing, they thought, "Oh, this is going to be the silver bullet. This is going to help this out." And guess what? It didn't. It made it worse.
Well, I would say that the change in the Hippocratic Oath started around the 60s. Not that there haven't been this sort of people with this sort of.
It's not a change in the Hippocratic Oath because it does less harm.
Well, that's the argument. I've seen a lot of stuff make me disagree with that. Like I said, I don't know if it's true or not.
There's nothing you can show that it is. There's no study you can show that says that gender-affirming care causes more harm. Not one.
Well, what about the study that says they commit the same amount of you know what before and after the surgery?
I asked you to provide data to show
Where's that study? Yeah, where's that study? Show us that study.
Yeah, that's just what I hear in all these debates.
Okay, but why don't you provide that data then?
So you have no backing.
Well, I mean, I guess my biggest argument would be that the minorities of a society don't have the right to tell the majority what to do. And it's oppressive to the majority to have that go on. I'm sure. I mean, this is the most unpopular opinion in the world, but I don't know. It's what I think.
Well, no offense, Doug tried asking you what they're trying to force on you, and you couldn't provide an answer.
Really.
No,
he tried to ask you what is being forced upon you as a straight cis het person.
Well,
he asked you what was being forced upon you, and you didn't have an answer
you got
for that.
kicked.
So basically, what you're saying is bigotry.
He just got kicked. Thank you to Tammy. Thank you so much, guys. Remember, we always have a kick. If you guys want to send 20 to any of the pay links or 2 galaxies. Somebody said he sounded like a South Park character. He sounded like a South Park character, and he kind of did. He also do you guys know who Jared Taylor is? Do you know who he is? Infectious. He's a white tea supremacist. He sounds almost identical to that guy.
I know who he is.
He's friendly with Richard Spencer, if you guys also know who that is. But this guy sounded exactly like Jared Taylor. He had that same, foghorn leghorn type of accent. I don't know what that accent is where you say white. Like where does that come from? Professor, he does sound like Professor Garrison. Alright, well, let's get to the next, guys. You can hang out up here, man, if you want. Guys, we're looking for opposition, though, okay? So if you disagree with the background prompt, you agreed with what that guy was saying, you can come up. Hello, how you doing, Jeff?
Can you hear me?
I can. What's your age?
Alright, 45. I was independent. I'm independent now. I was a Bernie supporter until the Democrats rigged the election against him in 2016. But back to this. I did vote for Trump, and I would consider myself MAGA. Trump, first of all, has no problems with gays, and we're transgenders. unless you're under the age of 18.
But you're referring to them gays or
gays-
transgenders.
Could you please refer to them as gay people or transgender people? Because they are people.
Right. So that in of itself is
People.
dehumanizing.
Listen, I have a very open-minded. I'm very open-minded, and I can switch one way or another depending on how much knowledge I get or statistics or whatever the case may be.
All right.
I
Well,
believe, and I'm speaking as a MAGA person here, we see a big difference between age and transgender people and what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed.
okay.
Caitlyn Jenner, who's the most popular transgender of all time, is a Trump MAGA supporter.
That
You agree there?
That doesn't mean anything. 90% of the LGBT plus community voted against him.
Okay. Now, another true stat is Trump has promoted so many gay people and women in his cabinet, more than a lot of other,
I don't. All right.
what's the name? Bassinet, the financial guy's in charge. Last time he was the first gay person to be in charge. No one cared. No one in the whole, I don't think in America, has a problem with any gay person.
But then why is
on
it
the
when I
planet.
do this topic, I have multiple people saying being gay is a disease, they shouldn't exist, they don't produce, so they're not, or they don't
I think
reproduce.
they're being ignorant.
I understand.
Ignorant.
Hold on, I got to be able to speak, man. I understand that, but I never hear that from people on the left. And you guys voted for the things that harm them. I'm not saying you on an individual basis. I don't know you. I am saying that the things you voted for harm this community overwhelmingly. I don't care how many gay friends you or Trump or whoever has, right? You guys are harming them, especially when it comes to transgender individuals.
All right. Can you educate me what harms gay people that Trump has ever implied or policy or as far as that?
I'm talking about the LGBT plus community as a whole.
Transgender, yes.
Right, and I think that's
Okay,
generally what
he's-
this is directed at. I mean, I can go to things that harm gay people on a state by state level by Republicans. We can talk about that, but as in regards to Trump, yes, I mean, there are some things, but it's heavily guided towards transgender people.
All right, and also since I'm 45, I do have plenty of gay friends and family members, and there's a big distinction inside the gay community between gays and transgenders. And a lot of times there's
Transgender
some
people,
inner
gays and
fighting.
transgender people.
Transgender people, sorry, I apologize, that they are at odds with each other. They believe they shouldn't be grouped in as far as that is considered and identifying one or the other.
Are you a part of the
Also,
community?
I am not.
Then how would you know?
Because I have so many friends that work at very high retail stores, and during
Yeah, but that's
certain
anecdotal.
after,
That doesn't speak for the entire
No.
community.
I'm not saying that 100%, but I'm just saying
That's what you
all right, so
literally
I'm gonna
said.
give you. Can I give you one example, real quick? So my one gay buddy, he has a problem with transgenders because sometimes
Transgender
they take away
people
men
for the
that
third
he
time.
would like to date. The transgender people that he would rather date the gay men, but it's kind of I don't know. They're taking away potential
Okay.
dating people.
This is, oh Jesus Christ, this is all anecdotal though, and no duh, you are a conservative, right? Conservative leaning, whatever the case you want to call yourself. Of course you're going to surround yourself by people who believe that way, but so that's going to be some sort of bias right there. If we look at gay people as a whole, we don't see this to be the case where they have an issue with trans people. It's the ones that you happen to be around because you happen to be around conservative people, so no duh. But even if that were the case, that doesn't take away from what trans people should or shouldn't be having, whether somebody else says that or not. So why don't we just talk about trans people? Don't talk about what other people think of trans people.
Okay, so can you tell me what the LGBTQ plus, what they stand for, each individual, and is there a big difference between each one to be categorized all together?
I don't see how the categorization is. I understand it's a talking point of you guys. I don't see how that changes things.
No, I'm just trying to be educated. That's I'm speaking a little ignorant on this, but my side would be they all fit together besides the trans.
Okay, but that still doesn't change how we treat human beings. Okay, if we had it your guys'
Yes,
way,
okay, so
if we had it your guys'
And
way,
what did Trump-
and
what
the
did Trump or
oh my God, if we had it your guys' way and we had everything T and on separate, or as part of different letters or a different group of letters, we still have to have the conversation of how we treat human beings, right? So why don't we just have that conversation? Since that's ultimately what we should all care about, is how we treat human beings.
Okay, so Doug, can you educate me?
The goal to the community is inclusion. The goal to the community is to be included and to be looked upon just like any other human being, no matter what their categorization is. And so when people of a particular group that have been oppressed or have been othered, when they see another group starting to go through the same thing, they tend to join together to build a community for strength. This is why we saw the development and the growth of the POC, because black people and brown people started saying, hey, we're being treated similarly. Why don't we come together as a community? Because strength in numbers, that's how human beings are. We are strength in numbers kind of creatures. And so when we see the LGBTQIA+, that community has a similarity. Everybody in that community has a similarity. They're looking for a similar goal, so they commute together. That's what it is. That's the goal. You asked if they have individual goals. They kind of do, but in the end result, all of those little goals are the same. They want the same result. They want to be included. They want to not be excluded. They don't want to be legislated against.
Oh, awesome. And I appreciate this. I appreciate the conversation, because me being a new MAGA person, a lot of times the other side will shut you, mute you. There's no good conversation. I want to say thank you for that. Now, being inclusive and the other guy that just spoke, very nice, and it sounded great. I applaud that what you just said. Now, with in being inclusive and everything, can I then identify as a different race or different color?
Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to?
No, but let's speak truth to truth.
Let's stick with that. Yeah, let's speak truth to truth. Wouldn't it be nice if it didn't matter?
And guys, 25,000 likes will move forward. Hold on. 25,000 likes will go to a new guest, all right? 25,000. Good.
So if I'm a white guy, I'm a white, middle-aged white guy, if I want to identify as black, wouldn't you have to accept me if we're all going to be inclusive? And I grew up, let's say, in an apartment complex around a certain minority group, and I do and act a lot like they do in certain aspects.
How do they act?
And I then
How do they act?
as a black person.
How do they act?
With the hip-hop culture, certain slang, certain mannerisms, certain things like that, certain food.
Yeah, fuck off. Tammy, thank you. Jesus Christ.
Tammy's just killing it today.
I have a huge headache right now. And I'm not going to blame it entirely on these people, but I would say like 90% is on these people. Fuck. Hey, Will, go ahead. Katie, I didn't even realize you were really up here. Are you opposition? Katie? Katie going once, Katie going twice. Okay. Huge W to Tammy, guys. Jeez. Fuck. Like, they want to talk about every other thing other than the thing that we're talking about. Like, they use the same old talking points that they have to go through, that they have to scroll through. It's always, well, if I can identify it as this, then I can identify as that, or gay people don't want them as part of it. It's the same exact fucking talking points. Like, they cycle through the same, 4 or 5 of them, right? All of which really don't have to do directly what we're talking about. Gwen, actually, I'll bring you up in just a moment. Probably. Let me see. Right here. Give me a second.
Before we go on to Daryl real quick, I just wanted to say, when he started talking about like the black culture and hip hop and things like that, it's a complete ignorance of history, because you also have to take into account that those things exist because of the history that they've shared. Yeah. Again, it's a collective culture. It's something that they've developed over time because of their experience. Had that never happened, had that oppression never happened, that culture would probably not exist the way it does today.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. If you guys are enjoying the live, click the red follow button on the top left. I have the new gift goal. It's the hat goal. If you guys want to help hit that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Show support, but it's not needed. Also, pay links are right there in that reminder box. It's Dougie9192. I'll read your question or comment out loud to the chat. Well, it's not needed, though, but I do appreciate it, of course. Jerry, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I just need to know your age before we move forward.
I'm sure, 22 years old.
All right, cool. What's on your minds?
Sure, I believe that, well, I believe everything about the LGBT is completely disgusting because, you know, when it comes to kissing, for example, someone of their own gender basically in the mouth.
You gotta slow down. You're speaking entirely too fast.
I'm sure that, well, I believe that it's completely disgusting to be able to, kiss someone from your own gender. It's completely disgusting, also it's morality, and you should not try to.
How does that affect you, though? Okay, hold on. How does two men kissing affect you?
It's not so much about them kissing each other. It's about knowing that, for example, imagine a man and a man going into a bed, you know, having sexual relationships. That's what it's completely disgusting.
Well, maybe
not
stop.
Just kissing each other.
I have a great solution for you. You ready? Just don't think about it.
What?
I have a really good solution for you. This will fix the entire problem. Just don't think about it.
I mean, it goes against morality because you're trying to teach children that basically should be able to choose, like, for example, changing their gender, being able to do this in public, being able to do it with the same people of the same gender. It's completely disgusting. It goes against Christian values and morality.
So it's immoral because they can't reproduce?
I'm not saying because of that. I'm saying because it is wrong. It's completely disgusting.
Okay, but again, that's a personal problem.
I mean, back in the day, a lot of people were not actually happy with it. Why should anyone be happy with it? It's disgusting.
Again, I don't know why I have to keep stating this. It's a personal problem of yours. Let consenting adults what consenting adults want to do with each other. Doesn't affect you. Just stop thinking about it. Move forward with your life. Your life will get a lot better the moment you stop caring. I promise.
Also, my whole problem with the LGBT is because.
Well, no, I want you to address what I just said, not and also, right? I'm not going to argue with over it being disgusting or not. I accept I can't change your feelings on you thinking it's disgusting. I think it's weird. I think you have a lot to work out there, but I am giving you a solution. Just don't think about it.
It is disgusting because we're basically trying to teach ordinary people that in order to be able to, I don't know, be happy with yourself, you have to search for a relationship when it comes to a person from the same gender. It is disgusting.
What did you catch what he just said, Infectious? He speaks way too fast.
Dude, I made out most of it, dude. You need to put the caffeine down.
Or whatever it is.
Monster Energy, you know, whatever you've concentrated and are now chewing on like bubblegum. Knock it off. You need to slow down with your accent and the speed of your voice and the crappiness of your mic. We cannot understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, it's the combination thereof. Obviously not trying to make anyone feel bad for having an accent. It's just the combination of those things that make it very difficult.
Hey, you just dipped.
Well, there's that. Yeah, like those people I think are certainly in the closet. I don't think every single person that we speak to on this topic is in the closet. I think somebody like that for sure is. Like, clearly. Alright, I know you guys don't love this guest right here, but...
Oh, fuck's sakes.
I'm sorry, yeah. Hello.
Get those galaxies ready, guys.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going.
Hey, living the dream. How are you?
Good, I just need to know your age real quick.
Yeah, 46.
Alright, what's going on?
Not much. Just I was surfing by, and you said that you don't know why people can't get on here and debate the prompt. Well, I'm here.
Okay, cool. If you guys are enjoying it live, click the red follow button on the top left. And if you want to know when I'm going to be live and moving forward, guys, check the schedule in my bio. All right, man. So what's your opinion on the LGBT plus community?
Got no problem with the LGB, but I got a problem with what your side wants to do with the T. Letting girls go to, or boys go to girls' bathrooms and sports and all that.
All right, what's the harm of that?
One, I see the bathroom, or the female bathroom specifically, as a safe place for women or girls to go into and
take care of their business and not have to worry about 6'3" guys coming in pretending to be women. Or
So-
boys in school going into the girls' bathroom.
So what's the harm of
Which my own
it?
daughters have kids.
What's the harm of it being done? Now, when you say boys pretending to be women, right? That's weird terminology for one. But two, are you referring to trans people, or are you talking about cis men that are pretending to be trans? Which one are you talking about?
Well, we don't know the difference because there's cis men pretending to be women claim that they are trans.
Okay. So what's the harm of it?
The harm of it is creating a non-safe place for girls.
Safe place
That's
by
the
what?
harm.
By which metric?
The metric is safety.
Okay. How do we measure safety? Probably by assaults that are happening in the restroom and other forms of violence. I would imagine. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I assume we measure safety by assault, crime in general, violence in the restroom, etc., right?
Just feeling generally safe and comfortable, I guess you could say.
Okay, well that's sort of
Not comfortable
subjective.
feeling when
That's sort of
when a boy
subjective.
walks into the girls' bathroom.
That's sort of subjective,
What?
and we can get to subjective things, but why don't we talk about the measurable harms? So,
Okay, let's talk about the measurable harms.
so can you show me that there's an increase of violence being done in these restrooms by transgender individuals, or in your words, people claiming to be transgender?
I can show you an increase of complaints and uncomfortability within the female community.
No, you can't. You can't
And
share
I
it.
have real life experience with.
You can't
with,
show
uh,
Well, show it
In
then.
your real life, experience,
With my
your
daughters,
real life experience is anecdotal.
specifically.
Show it.
You have hearsay evidence. Hearsay.
What do you mean hearsay? I'm telling you here personally that it's
That's
an
hearsay.
experience that my daughters have faced in school.
It's hearsay.
Well, then these-
Probably because she's afraid of you. She's probably afraid of you.
Oh, so you're saying it's
The way that
easy?
we've heard, no offense, we've all heard you up here. The way that you speak about transgender individuals, it's no wonder your children are afraid of them.
Yeah. They're probably telling you what you want to hear.
What do I speak about them? Like, how do I speak about them?
That the fact that transgender people going into a restroom is dangerous to your daughter. You literally just said it.
Yes, I told my daughters to watch out for certain type of situations in life.
And that's why they're afraid of it, because you've groomed her to do that. You've groomed and indoctrinated her to be that way.
No, it's societal norms not to have men in women's bathroom. It's societal norms not to have boys playing
Do you
girls'
use
sports
the
in
same?
girls'
Do you use the
bathrooms.
same
That's societal
bathroom as your
norms.
daughters at your house?
Do what?
Do you use the same bathroom as your daughters at the house?
Yes, but we use it individually, not at the
Oh,
same time.
so you mean there's stalls in the women's bathroom, so when there's one shut, there's not two people going in them?
Well,
The same difference, right?
it's an entire bathroom, right? It's an entire bathroom.
Is it though?
You can bring up the stalls
Is
if
it?
you want the stalls.
Yeah.
Different. It
Yeah,
doesn't
so
matter
the
about
stalls are broken up, so where's the
It
safety
doesn't
problem?
matter.
Where's the safety
It doesn't
problem?
matter if the stalls are
Where's the
broken
safety
up.
problem if the stalls are broken up?
But it doesn't matter if the stalls are broken up or not. It
doesn't.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It really, okay, doesn't know why. Why doesn't it matter? Why doesn't it matter? Why? Tell me why it doesn't matter.
Because it's still the same room.
It's the same room?
Yeah, it's the same room. Yeah, I know that's hard for you to comprehend, but yeah, it's still the same safe place for women to go
Then maybe
in.
we should require. Then maybe we should require the stalls to be built better, so that they're more separate.
Yeah.
So that they're more separated. So you
All right.
are safer.
Well, then you can make that argument. But
Wouldn't that be
that's not what
simpler?
you guys want.
With that, no, that
That's
is
how we
exactly what we
gotta do
want.
that.
Yeah, that is exactly what we want. If you ask,
not.
if you
You know
ask standard, no, hold on,
You know
just
what
a
the-
second here.
you know what the-
Upward.
okay.
If you ask anybody around, especially in the leftist spaces, what we would prefer
are the gender-neutral bathrooms that they have over in Europe. Most European countries have gender-neutral bathrooms. They have very, very nice stalls that are floor-to-ceiling coverage. You can't see in or out of them. That would be best. That is what we would ask for. Gender-neutral bathrooms with great separations and stalls for everybody's comfort.
Right. And if you can go in and do your business and not be in the same room, I have no problem with that. But as long as they don't enter the women's bathroom or the bathroom and it's all one room and it's all out.
There's one bathroom, but there's several stalls. And you may have a man sitting taking a dump next to a woman going pee in separate stalls because the stalls are completely separated. They have solid wall dividers instead of flimsy bullshit tin ones.
Hey, Popcorn, what do you do when you go into
Do you
a
have
public
an image
bathroom?
of these stalls? Like,
No.
like specifically, there's different.
No, Popcorn.
Like,
What do
like
you
layouts. I'm just
do when you
wondering
go into a
what you
public
would
bathroom?
consider good.
What do you do when you go into a public bathroom?
So do you got like an image or something to show me on what these stalls look like? Because there's various different
Go look it up on your own time.
types of stalls.
I want to know what you do
Oh, so you
when
can't do
you
that.
go
Okay,
into a
got it.
public bathroom. What do you do?
Well, you go to the bathroom. Men go into the men's bathroom.
Yeah.
Women go into the women's bathroom. Yeah, it's
Okay,
simple.
and what do they do? What is the whole purpose of going to the bathroom?
To use the bathroom, either number one, number two, or freshen up or change. Right, you can take
Yeah.
off your clothes and change outfits. Right, but you can't really do that when men are in there.
You can't.
No.
So there's no.
No,
So
you
where do
can't
you
do
go?
that.
Where do you go when you're going to change your clothes? Do you go next to the urinal and just fucking drop clothing right there in front of the urinal?
Well, sometimes you don't do that. You stand in the middle of the bathroom and you change. You know, maybe you want to change. Maybe you want to take off your shirt and freshen
You
up.
change your clothes in the middle of a gas station bathroom, right there in the middle of it.
Hey Doug, with the new setup, can you give me a big screen?
Oh, I'm saying like a public bathroom or something like that. Yeah, it's common that people go in and change clothes in there.
Yeah, in a stall.
And they don't always grab a
where
stall
people
when
are
they do
where
so.
people are separated from people. You
No,
don't
I'm
just
saying that
change
they
your
don't
clothes.
always
You
go
don't
into the
change your
stall and
clothes in the
change. They
middle
don't
of the
do that.
bathroom. You don't change your clothes in the middle of the
Like a
bathroom.
locker room.
I said
Like
a
a locker room,
bathroom,
you go
not
in
a
and
locker
shower.
room. You goof
Right, a
ball.
locker room.
Hold on a second, you two. Quit.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. What about a bathroom
Hey,
that
Doug,
you
can
go
you
in
give
like
me
a
a big screen
gym,
at all, or-
right? Like a gym,
Oh my
like Planet
God.
Fitness or something
You
like
don't
that. You go into
you
the
don't even-
women's bathroom.
You don't
There's
even know what
locker rooms there.
You don't even know
and
what you're
change
talking
at your
about.
locker.
You don't even know what you're talking
You
about.
change at your locker. Have you ever been to a gym before?
Why are you up here talking about
Have
this
you ever been
topic?
to a gym?
Yes, I've been to a
That's a
gym.
really nice one.
What are we?
Okay, then you know
what
that
are we
there's
trying to
locker
show
rooms
here?
in those
Let me see, we
gyms,
got
and that you change at your locker room. You're stark ass naked there.
And guys, we'll move forward to a new guest
Hold on.
at 50K
Oh, wow, look
likes,
at- look
okay?
at that.
50K likes
You're
the guest.
stark ass naked.
Look
Yeah,
at that
popcorn. Can you see the big screen? Can you see the
Wow.
big screen right now, popcorn?
Okay, cool.
So
So
you see these, how they're nice. They're nice and they're floor to ceiling, so you can't look into them at all. They are separated. Here's another. I had another picture of a really. I mean, this one's a fancy schmancy one.
Oh yeah.
This one's all
Yeah.
kinds of fancy schmancy. Look at that. Look at how pretty
yeah,
that
you
is.
can't. Yeah,
Now
you
the
can't have
washing
that.
area, the hand washing area, is a communal area, so you would have men
There
and
you
women
go.
intermixing in that area.
And
But
that's the problem.
Wouldn't these now? I will say this: requiring this legally doesn't oppress anybody. It doesn't change anybody's rights. It doesn't tell anybody what they can or cannot do.
It still
This
does.
is
Do you
an
not
easier
see that?
solution.
No, it's not.
Well, wait.
You just said that
5
they
minutes
share
ago that
a
you'd be
common
cool with that.
area.
You just said
You
5
just
minutes
said
ago that
they
you'd be
share
cool
a
with that.
Okay, go ahead and talk, and then I'll talk. Go ahead.
You just said 5 minutes ago that you'd be okay with that. When we described it, you said, do you have pictures of these things? I would be okay with that if I saw pictures of these things. I just showed you pictures of them.
Okay, can I reply now? You just said that they share a common area where they go to the sink and freshen up and all that stuff. That I got a problem with. So, yes,
Why?
you showed me what you were talking about, but it doesn't hold any weight
Wait,
because
why
when you
is that
share
a
a
problem?
common area like you just said,
Wait,
then no.
Wait, but
No, I don't agree with it.
But hold on, you share a common area with women when you go to a restaurant, when you're in a conference meeting, when you are in a park, you share a common space. Why is that not problematic?
Because it's not the bathroom. You don't share a common space in the bathroom
unless
unless it's like
bathroom? What's inherently different
independent bathrooms where you can go in and lock the door.
You can go to
use
other
the
places
toilet
and lock the
and
doors.
freshen up with the
Yeah,
sink.
you can do that in
So-
restaurants. You can go to a closet and lock the door. You can go
Right.
if you're at a park, you can go to a porta potty and lock it. So why do you have an issue not there but everywhere else?
Because you're sharing a common area there at the
But I
sinks.
gave you examples of other common areas where men and women share those common areas, and you don't have a problem.
I've never seen that in my entire life where men and women share a common area at
Literally
the same
everywhere in
exact time. You
society,
can't lock a door.
everywhere, private and public in society, men and women share common areas. Everywhere, literally everywhere.
Right,
Everything
but they
that you
do it independently. Right, but they do it independently, and they lock the door behind them, right or wrong.
No, I'm talking.
Wait, you have a place to separate
Do they
yourself
lock
and
the
lock
door
the door in a
behind
restaurant?
them? No, it's a simple
Separate from
question.
restrooms. Where else are men and women separated? Within a common area.
The locker rooms.
Separate from these things. I'm asking why this is an issue. Everywhere in society, men and women share spaces.
Because you get because you can go to the bathroom or the locker room and get stark ass naked. You don't want to be in there with somebody of the opposite sex if you don't want to be. So just respect other people's opinions.
But what if I don't want to be at the beach?
Respect their spaces.
What if I don't want to be at the beach with somebody of the opposite sex and they're wearing minimal clothing?
Then you go to the beach. I mean, that's their option to be at the beach and wear minimal.
Right.
And wear minimal clothing. That's their option. That's their choice.
Exactly. It's their choice if they want to do it. Yeah.
And
Right.
it's also
So,
your choice to
why
go
can't
pee
you
at home.
leave them?
It's also
so why
your,
can't you
it's
give
also
them the
your choice
option
to
to
pee at
use the
home.
bathroom by themselves?
It
And I
is
have to
also
worry
your choice
about
to pee
people
at
of the
home.
opposite
If
sex
you are
that go in
that
there and use those
phobic,
bathrooms.
if you are that phobic around being around other human beings, you can pee at home.
It's not phobic. It's not phobic. It's creating a
Absolutely
place.
is.
It's creating a safe place for young women. That's exactly what it's doing.
But you haven't.
And you guys can't stand it because you like to be in there.
You haven't substantiated the
Perv
harm.
out.
You haven't substantiated the harm other than your feelings.
I did. It's not feelings. It's harm.
You haven't substantiated it.
It's mental anguish. It's mental harm. I
Yeah,
know that my daughter's
that's subjective. I can say there's mental
And what's
anguish.
complaining?
I can say there's mental anguish me being at the beach next to someone of the opposite sex. But that's not a problem.
And no offense, the harm your daughters go through
Yeah,
is
but that's
because of you.
societal
It's not
norms.
because of
Exactly.
It's not because of society. That's because of you. The harm your daughters are going through is because of you. Because of the way you have taught them.
It is because of
That is
people
not
like you
society.
that
That
want
is
men
you. That is
and-
your
and
bigotry.
little girl
That is
spaces.
your bigotry being passed down. That's all that is.
You want grown men and little girl spaces. That's what you want.
Yeah,
So you're
Popcorn,
harming little
guess
kids
what?
out there.
Popcorn, guess what? Your girls are more likely to be assaulted by you than they are a stranger, which is a family member they know. Do you realize that? So they should be. They're probably more afraid of you
Oh, really? Do you
than
have any
they are of
stats
any.
of that?
Than they are of any
Do
stranger.
you have any stats of that, or is that just your?
The second part is that's where your mind goes immediately.
Yep.
The
So
second
show
part
me
is
what
that's where
me-
your mind goes
Me,
immediately. Is that when that
show me what
situation comes
I'm
up, that's
more
all
of a
you can
threat
think
to my
about.
daughters
Because that's
than
all you
people
can
like
think
you.
about.
All right, I got to read
Because
a.
apparently that's the first thing you think about.
I got to read a payment.
Show
thing.
me.
Hold on. Serena, thank you.
Exactly.
Hold on, Serena, thank you for the 2 on the blue app with a V. W Serena in the comments, it says, could you ask guest if he's okay with lesbians using the women's bathroom? Because what he is saying is what used to be said against gay people. That's a very good point. So gay, so 2 men who are gay, 2 women who are lesbian, how come they can use the same spaces, even though there would be an attraction there that you find to be problematic?
One, because women with women, I don't care about your sexual preference, but when women are going to the bathroom and the locker rooms with women, I have no problem with that.
But why? But
there's
the
no problem.
basis at which you find men and women to be in the same space is because you find men to have this sexual attraction that they just can't seem to overcome, and they're going to do something to women, right? So what about women on women, men on men?
Well, how many cases of women raping men out there are there, or women raping women?
There's not many cases at
It doesn't
all.
matter.
think
There's a
think about
non-zero
all the-
amount. It doesn't matter. There's a non-zero amount. If you care about people like you claim you do, you wouldn't want that to happen. What about men on men? There's plenty of those that exist.
How come you guys?
But how do you do that?
How come you aren't talking about female teachers that get busy with it with one of their male students?
Well, they go to jail, don't they?
Well, right.
Yeah,
But I mean-
and how many trans people are going to jail for assaulting a cis woman in the bathroom then?
I'm tracking.
Oh, hey,
plenty of
Popcorn, your
articles.
favorite
Popcorn,
Popcorn, your favorite buddy is in the comments.
I got plenty of articles. What about you?
Popcorn, the guy that
You
you
don't
owe
have
money
any
to.
articles.
Popcorn,
I
Popcorn,
do.
the guy that you
don't.
Popcorn,
No, you
the guy,
don't.
Popcorn, the guy that you owe money to is in the comments, by the way.
If you're talking about Matt owes me $1,000 now. So
I think
the dude's a
I
moron.
think 99.9% of people disagree with you.
Well, I think that he thought
What's
that with the Clean CR that it would cut ACA subsidies before it even went into effect. So the guy's an
What's it
idiot.
like to be a loser on TikTok? Seriously, what's it like? What's it like to be a loser on TikTok?
I don't know how it feels to
Really?
be you. I don't.
Not only are
What's
you
it
a
like to
loser
be
in
no,
person,
really?
not only
I
are
don't
you a
know how it
loser in
feels
real
to be
life,
you,
you are
but-
now a loser on TikTok.
Golly,
I will say that y'all got dog walk here.
we did what?
You got dog walk. I said
This
you
is
got
what he
dog
always
walk.
does.
Yeah, I know.
This is what he always
I know.
does.
I
He
love
comes
it.
up,
You
I
got
speaks
love
some
when he
bigotry, and
does it.
says, "I
It's
won."
amazing.
All right,
yeah.
let me read
It's
this.
just-
My bigotry wins over your facts.
Let me read this from Kayla. Kayla, thank you so much for the 2 on the blue hat with a V.
Yes, you are a bigot, and I do
It says,
have
I am a million times more uncomfortable sharing a world with, or uncomfortable sharing a world with Popcorn than I am sharing a bathroom with a trans woman.
Right, but now the host is advocating that I share the same bathroom as you all. You women down there in the comments, would you like to share a bathroom with me?
I think the
Get
point
next
is
to a
that you.
stall
I think
with
the
me.
point is that you clearly
My
missed.
guess is no.
The point that you
My guess is
clearly
no. Well,
missed is that
Well, the
trans
same
women,
holds true for my daughters.
Kayla feels extremely more comfortable around. So trans women
Why
can't
do you-
really be the issue if that were to be the case.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
why do
but
you-
if y'all
why do you
want to share a
tokenize-
bathroom with popcorn, that
Why do you-
proves my point. Thank you for proving my point down there.
Why
in
do
the
you
comments.
tokenize your daughters on this platform?
It's not tokenizing. It's pointing out real life examples.
No, it is. It's tokenizing
that you
your
can't
daughters.
refute.
Yeah.
And you can't
No.
refute.
No,
Do you
we
have
can't
daughters?
Not only
refute it.
tokenizing,
We're not.
but
We're
you
not
do
talking.
have daughters, yes
Yeah,
or
we're
no?
not. Yeah. Do you even? You probably don't even have daughters, Popcorn.
G-Win, do you have daughters? Yes or no?
No, I do not have.
All right,
daughters.
then
I don't
shut
have
the-
any, I don't,
what
I,
the
don't,
hell
I don't
are you
have any
talking about?
kids. I don't
My
have any
hand
kids.
is
Why
up.
are you
I
talking?
do.
but I have two nieces.
Popcorn.
Why
I
are
have
you
them.
talking?
Okay.
I have two nieces.
First of all, I
Stop
think
talking. You don't even
I have
have
two
daughters.
nieces.
Shut the hell up.
Popcorn.
one
You're
at a
not
time,
going to
guys.
get me to
Guys,
stop
please, one at a
talking.
time. Please, one at
So,
a time.
host, do you have kids?
It's not relevant to the topic, but Infectious does.
No, because
So
you think
don't
you have a.
kids
You
either.
think you have a
Jen,
win
dude,
here,
you
Popcorn,
videos,
and you
man,
don't
on
have
here
a win.
talking about
Guys, we are
one of
over
your
talking
girls
again.
fat
This
than
is
the
the
other, you have
exact
daughters
reason why I
yourself.
don't want to have many people up. We can't do the over talking. Please, guys, please. All right, one at a time. Okay.
None of y'all have daughters, and yet you're on here talking about people's daughters, and men should be able to use the bathroom
I
with them.
literally
Dude, you
just
guys
said
are
I have
P3DOs.
daughters.
You're sick.
Infectious.
Popcorn. I literally
You're
just said I
disgusting
have
human
daughters.
Infectious
beings.
says he has daughters.
I have daughters.
Yep.
I have two.
I'm not even talking to him.
Well,
I'm talking
I have
to you
no.
and
I
Glenn up
have.
there who likes
I
to
have a
talk
daughter,
about
and then I have a
two-
health
Dude,
spawn.
y'all,
I have a
I have
daughter and a
two-
health
I have
spawn.
two
and you're
nieces.
on here running your mouth.
I have
You have
two
no-
nieces.
You
I'm
have no
tired of you
ground to
talking over
stand
people,
on.
Popcorn.
I have two
Shush.
nieces.
Shush. I have a daughter and I have a health spawn. One of my born
Health-
daughters is non-binary, so I
Oh.
call her my health spawn, or them my health spawn. I'm still adapting to that. I will admit. Please call me on it if I screw up Doug and Gwen, please.
No.
You know
You're
what's
fine.
wild to me though? You legendary or popcorn, whatever the
So
hell.
you
your name
failed
is.
your daughter. Got it.
Legendary. You find it to be a prerequisite to have this conversation that you have to have daughters, but when someone's transgender, then that's not a prerequisite to having this conversation, and their opinion then
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But your opinion seems to matter when you have a daughter. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm saying if you don't have daughters and you don't know the care and the love that one gives to
a child, specifically a daughter.
So what do you have to
So-
say to the parents that have
When you mess with
daughters
my
that don't care?
daughter's safety, then
Well, popcorn.
I'm going to speak
Well,
out. And I'm
popcorn.
going to
There's
lash
plenty
out.
of
So.
individuals that have daughters that don't care about the things you care about. But you are getting kicked though. So.
Okay.
The funny thing,
Bye,
popcorn, is
Popcorn.
I am a daughter. So
Right.
there you go.
Ooh, my phone. Sorry. W Tammy, thank you so much, Tammy. Guys, let's have a big W Tammy in the chat. I can take one more quick guess, guys, because I gotta leave in 10 minutes, but I can take a quick one. Let's see if any of these people are opposition here. It's got to be somewhat quick, though. If you guys have enjoyed the live up until this point, click the follow button on the top left. I will be live later on tonight, guys, at 7 p.m. Eastern time, okay? So it's actually about 4 hours from now. So if you're just joining and you missed it, just catch me at 7 p.m. Eastern, okay? Hello, Pastel?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I know this says
Doug, hold on just real quick. Doug, is there any way for you to turn your mic gain up just a hair?
My mic up?
You're a little quiet. Yeah.
Is this better?
Just a little quiet.
Is this better?
There you go. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, are you opposition, man? Because I only have room for one guest, so one more guest.
No, I'm not. No, sir.
Okay, let me go ahead and bring you down, man. I'm sorry, but go ahead and have a good rest of your day, okay? Guys, I just want an opposition, all right? Real quick, okay? Not super, super quick, but quick enough. And make sure you guys sub to the tube, all right? It's Dougielifts. Link is also in the bio. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh, you're that same guy. F off.
Yeah.
Yeah, RC is the only one
You
that's...
really want to get into that?
Yeah, no, it's the same guy from
Want
earlier.
to get into all that?
Ruthless, I think you were... No, I didn't mean to bring this guest up. No. Goodbye, bye. All right, guys, we're going to end it because I don't want to rush the next one, all right?
We don't have time for you.
Yeah, we don't... let's just find somebody to raid real quickly, okay? Who is live right now that we can raid? Anybody know of anybody that's live that we can raid real quickly? Let's see. Let's raid... RTP is live, but he's going to be wrapping up. Let's raid Super Solid. If you guys know who Super Solid is, he's live right now. Let me just see if I can find his handle real quick, so you guys can search him up.
Does Leslie want to come up? She's
well,
the one
I
down
gotta
there speaking
end
real
live.
women. You gotta go.
We're gonna raid Super Solid, guys. If you don't know who he is, his handle is Super Solid 4TP. If somebody, one of my mods, want to put it in the comment section, that'd be great. You want to say anything real quick, Gwen and Infectious, before I drop?
Oh no, I'm about to go to the movie theater and get some popcorn.
Sounds really good. I love popcorn. All right, guys, I'm putting his handle in the comments. Infectious, you got anything you want to say?
No, thanks everybody for coming. Make sure to follow if you haven't.
Okay, cool. All right, Infectious and Gwen, take care. Yeah, guys, I'm putting his thing in the comments, okay? I will say it again, or I'll put it there again, my bad. Again, guys, if you enjoyed the live, click the follow button on the top left. Make sure you guys subscribe to me on the tube. It is Dougielifts. Again, I'll be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time again. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'll still be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so look out for that. And if you guys want to know my live schedule in general, just go to my bio, check it out. I'll always be live at that time, unless I happen to change the schedule up, but that's obviously what it's going to be for the foreseeable future. So make sure you guys join Discord. The link is in the bio. Click my profile on the top left so you guys can join the bulletin board. And that's it. I will see you guys all later. I'll put his handle in here one more time. That's who we're rating, okay? Hope everybody has a great evening, and I'll see you guys all in a handful of hours, alrighty?